Alrighty. Just going through a bit of roadworks here actually. Just want to talk a little bit about the King of Freedom and his sidekick, Jew, who can justify anything. The Jew who justified anything! Funny, you know, watching Rosie there talking about she's the queen of free speech and he can be the king of freedom. And I was looking at these two, you know, Drawer is there with a microphone. I thought he had a shit internet connection, but apparently it's just a bad microphone. And, you know, the king of freedom, you know, he can't afford a fucking haircut, but he's the king of freedom. And you got Drury there, backing him up, who can't afford a real microphone. I mean, what are these fucking microphones worth? Like $5 or something? 20 bucks? Like, it's fucking hell. Like, you know. I think I can get a decent one over here for $10, and this is Australia where they rip you off on everything. You know. Isn't it funny though? I remember once I was talking to my old man about, you know, countries that are, poor countries that are free. And he said, what's the point of being free if you got no money to enjoy the freedom with? You know, and at the time I sort of think, whatever. But he sort of got a point. Like, you know, I just picture old Elvis standing under a bridge going, you know, I'm free! I've got everything! Yeah, you're free. You got everything. You got fucking hair loss, you got genital crabs, you got fucking herpes, you know, you've got everything. But what I'm involved in right now is going up. I'll explain more in later videos, and you'll see it in later videos. Just on the rough part here. Oh, back on sealed road. I'll explain more in later videos. I've got a lot of them that I haven't uploaded yet that are all about scarcity mentality, and eventually I'll tell you what I'm doing, but I'm getting back into business this year. Back in business! So, you know, of course you got to find a fair bit of motivation when you go in business, and well, the long and short of it is I've got my sister who, I might as well tell you guys, you know about the 4-year psychology degree she got at university. Well, she's also 3 years through a mechanical engineering degree. She finished high school 2 years early, and while she was finishing high school 2 years early, she went to night school and got a Cert 4 in fashion design. And most of you probably don't know it, but she's actually got her own brand line of baby products, while helping out her husband who's a building engineering consultant and has a business doing that. And she's got 3 Etsy stores as well. And 3 kids as well. But anyway, she's got her own small brand line of baby products. And there's a friend of hers who I met who's a fairly nice looking young lass. She's a bit funny on boys, but she's got a clothing brand line herself. That's kids' clothes. And, you know, my sister's got a lot of contacts, and of course so is this other friend of hers that I've met on that epic weekend away that we had up in Merimbula, New South Wales. So anyway, the long and short of it is I'm actually going up to a sewing machine mechanic that's quite a distance away here. And yeah, give you an example of motivation. This is my first week that I've been back at work, and I said to my sister, oh, I'll be too buggered come the first weekend, so we'll work out these sewing machines on the second weekend. Well, here I am on the first weekend after the first week back at work, driving up on Saturday with 4 sewing machines. Now, admittedly, one's my father's that he wanted fixed, but I've basically gone around and, you know, we've got on eBay auctions and acquired 3 sewing machines in the same week that I went back to work for the first week after the holidays. So, yeah, some of these nights, you know, I'd be up at 4:45 AM and it'd be 7:30 by the time I'd even got home and, you know, started to get shit sorted for the night, you know, and here I am at Saturday morning, less than 5 hours sleep, charging up to fucking get these sewing machines fixed up. But I've got a Pafaf, which is Pafaf 230 automatic, which is an older machine, hammer-tone green, made in Germany, and it's actually a part of popular culture history. It's sort of popular culture famous, so I'm told. There's a major international brand that's a very famous brand, and apparently this was the first machine that they ever owned in their factory. If they want to buy it back for a museum, the price just fucking quadrupled over what I paid for it. It's a good machine though. It's got 9 different feet, and these different feet, they're not just, you know, oh, it's got a foot. You know, these allow you to do like your little rollover stitching on the bottom of your t-shirt. You know, you just feed the bottom of the bare t-shirt in, and this foot has, you know, a thing built into it which will roll it over and sew it and give you a little gap that's about ½ inch wide and that it, you know, re-stitches it at without you even trying. You know, you push it in and it literally will roll the fabric over, and then the needle goes right through it. A lot of fancy little bits and pieces with that, including a piece where if you've got a bit of fabric that you want to put through and you want to make sure that you have a nice stitch a certain distance from the side, it's got like a little fucking plate that sits there, so you don't really have to keep it lined up as it feeds through, because this plate will keep it lined up. All you got to do is just push the pedal down and let it go, and she'll, you know, and this is the thing. Most machines might come with 1 foot, maybe 2. These come with 9. So I couldn't believe how many there was in there, in the little box. But that one's, honestly, it's about 25 pounds in weight. I'm not fucking joking. Like, it's about 12 kilos in weight, 10 or 12 kilos. It's frackin' heavy. I know it's heavier than a 20-pound gas bottle, I'll put it like that. And then the other 2 I got, that was $250. They wanted 400. We offered 150. They put a counter offer at 250, and we took it on my sister's advice. I was a bit scratchy on it, but when I seen all the attachments that come with it, holy smoke! There's another friggin' $100 worth of extra feet that come with it. So that works out alright. The other 2 I've got, I went round to pick up one, and he said, well, we've also got this other one anyway we're going to put on eBay. You can have that as well for a set price. Now basically I bid $20 for the first one, and then I got the other one, which is a more advanced one, for $30. So $50 I got away with 2 machines. So that was what I just got last night, and Pafaf's in good condition. The newer one I got for $20, that's in good condition. It's missing 1 or 2 little screws that don't really matter. And the older one I got for $30, that's got something wrong with it. I think it's a split cotter pin. But anyway, the mechanic will work all this shit out for me. That's his job. So anyways, these other ones, these other 2 I got last night, Husqvarna. You know the chainsaw maker? Like, Still's probably the best chainsaws, that's a German brand, and the second best is Husqvarna. Yeah, that's who made these machines. So I got 2 Husqvarnas as well. My mum reckons they're the friggin' Rolls Royce of sewing machines. And I wouldn't doubt it, because apparently the price tag, when they were new, was enough to choke a fucking horse. And, built in Sweden. One's built in the 1960s and the other one I think is the early 80s. But the one in the early 80s is alright, but it's sort of more basic-ish one. And the one from the 60s is really quite advanced, and that's the one with the problem. So anyway, the long and short of it is I'm going to get these things fixed up there. Now, you may wonder, like I sort of look at what I got to do, right? The PFAF, I know for a fact it's got it written on the back, 80 watt engine. Yes, 80 watts. And strangely enough, the Husqvarnas don't really have the wattage rating on them. They got one for the lamp. But when I opened the book up, it showed what was supposed to, you know, look like the back of the machine, and it said something along the lines of 50 watt motor. But the plaque they had shown in the book is probably what they have in Sweden. And it's just an English conversion of the book, but the actual ones that get sent here didn't have the same, you know, power consumption plaque, because it's only got the thing, but apparently it looks as though they got 50 watt motors. Now this is not a trouble when you're living with solar power, and I think about all these Ebeggars and all this shit, and you know, they've all got vans, and let's face it, you know, for $1,000 they could get a solar system that would easily feed enough power to run an 80 watt sewing machine. You know, and this is the fact. You know, they don't take that much power to run. In fact, you know, some of these guys, 120 watt panel, my parents' RV/camper, it's got 130 watt panel on it. I can buy myself, I got mainly 120 watters, 2 for the house, 1 for the fridge. And my place, I've also got a couple of 40 watters as well for the fridge, just to catch the rising sun and the afternoon sun as it goes down. But I can get 150 watters more recently. I've only been able to get them for about 6 months or so, and maybe 9 months. And you know, that's plenty of power. I mean, hell, you could damn near run 2 of the bloody things off it, especially if they only got 50 watt motors. And to save a bit of power, you don't need to use the lamp they've got, which is a little shitty incandescent globe. You could use LED lights, because quite frankly LED is a lot brighter and it takes a lot less power. But you know, these things are old, you know, made in the 60s, made in the 80s, of course they're going to have an incandescent globe in them. But I sort of sat there and I thought, you know, these fucking Ebeggars, they never do anything, and yet you could easily set up a sewing machine. I mean, these things all got cases. All 4 of them that I've got in the back now have got cases they come in. And like full carry handle and all that shit. You know, and the PFAF I've got is apparently a quote-unquote tank of sewing machines. You know, you couldn't wreck it if the fucking thing dropped off the back of a truck. You know, they're fucking heavy built. You know, and my sister's got industrial ones for $150. You know? And they are super duper heavy duty. And this is the thing. You know, half these Ebeggars, they got solar systems in vans. You know, all this is just one little box, and they could be doing something. And let's face it, they ain't got to outrun China. Not many people have got to outrun China. But there's one thing you do outrun China on, and that's quality every fucking time. Now, what I'm getting involved in, that I'll probably, you know, that this business is going to be based on is things that I've seen that are, you know, more, well, they're finicky as hell, I'll be honest, they're very fine work involved. But I've seen these things in this country for up to $220 per piece. No shit. I mean, honest to God, I could make one a day and I'd be right. Now, the fabric costs and all that, you know, it might be a little, so maybe I want to make 1.5 a day, and I'd be rolling in cash. You know, okay, they're a low volume item, but they're bloody high value, bloody high value. And of course, you know, you've got to have a go at putting in decent quality if you want to charge the big bucks. That means you don't get shitty ass Chinese fabric. You know, you get American made things. America has a lot of synthetic cloth manufacture, you know, spandex, and hey, home of spandex is America. You know, and this is the thing. There's no point doing shirts or different things, but then again, maybe there is, because you've got Ebeggars out there selling printed shirts, and they can't make a single one themselves. Hell, they couldn't even make a fucking drink coaster without trying to subcontract that to someone else. Using pellet wood and a bloody soldering iron, they couldn't do it themselves. They had to subcontract that. You know, and if you had a Class C van, like a Class C RV, you know, the real big ones, I think that's a Class C, is it? You know what I'm talking about, the big bastards with a great big blooming diesel engine in the back. You could run a bloody sweatshop out of one of them. I'm telling you, you could. But they don't need to run a sweatshop. But if an Ebeggar was to make something, especially if they made it by hand themselves, not just some rehash fucking, oh, I need to sell a minimum of 25 because this is all the web store will allow, but they actually went ahead and made these things themselves, how much more likely would it be that people would buy this stuff? How much more likely would it be that people would buy it if it was realistically priced, or maybe even a little bit more expensive, but this person had stitched the fucking thing together bit by bit themselves? They could spend 2 hours a day on a sewing machine, and trust me, if you got the right attachments, you can fucking roll out so much shit in 2 hours that you'd never sell it all. But this is the thing. None of these clowns are going to spend 2 hours on a sewing machine a day. And the fact is that if they really put in a flat knacker effort and done stuff that was, you know, had attachments hooked up and really went like hell, they could do 2 hours a week and still have a reasonable amount of product to keep themselves going financially. You know. I'm not saying they'd be living with fucking money pouring everywhere. They'd probably have the same amount of money they got in their pocket now, but at least they wouldn't spend 3.5 hours online Ebegging for it. You know what I'm saying? And people would respect them because they actually done some work to achieve money. And if you've watched Simon Sinek, who has a thing, he's invented the term of the golden circle, and he's got a book called Start With Why. If you've seen his stuff, you'll understand that people don't really buy on much more than emotion in many cases. They buy because they believe in the principle of handmade stuff. A lot of the time, it's not because they need it, you know, and this is, my niece went really well. She sold cookies. I shit you fucking not, she sold $92 worth of cookies at a market. Yes. And my sister said the reason why is not because they were cheap, because they weren't, not because they tasted good, because they weren't super duper biscuits or something, you know, they were alright. But the reality of the situation was that people liked the concept of a little girl doing homemade biscuits, and that is why they buy, because they like the concept of it. And a lot of people like the concept of stuff that's made in Australia or made in America or wherever the country is that they're from, not just some rehashed Chinese shit that's going to have all the stitches fall out or it's going to go threadbare before you know it or whatever. you know, and this is the thing. And then made by the person you like to watch every night on YouTube, holy shit, they'd sell it fucking hand over fist. But only if they made it. Not if they whinge, wail, done nothing all day, except guard their fucking YouTube comments while saying, oh, we need a minimum of 25 before... Fuck off! You got a Filipino wife there, and let's face it, you got enough power to run several sewing machines. Get off your ass and run a sewing machine yourself. You know, if you're in a van, blah blah, you know, you can do it. You sleep all fucking day in that van, you know, you can go ahead and a couple of corrugations here, that's why my voice is wavering. High quality Australian roads. And, you know, if I can sleep fucking 12 hours a day, well I can sleep 10 hours a day and spend 2 hours on the sewing machine, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they ain't gonna do it because they're Ebeggars. What they believe in is freeloading off other people, you know, and, you know, when you're going to sell shirts and you can't even make one of the shirts yourself, what the fuck is that, you know? Hell, if I was making shit, if I was going full Ebeggar style, you know I'd make the shirts myself. And I'd be stitching up shit and fucking fandangles and concepts, and you'd probably get something that's, you know, a shirt with a fucking 6 pen slots in the pocket, you know, or some fucking bongo drums, you know, with a built-in fucking solar-powered cardboard-based fan or some fucking thing, you know, it'd be fucking bongo drums if I made it. You know what it'd be like. And me being me, it'd be Australian-grown cotton. And me being me, it wouldn't be single stitch, it wouldn't be double stitch, it'd be fucking triple or quadruple stitched. You know, you could just about bounce a fat Ebeggar off the fucking shirt and it still wouldn't tear in half, you know? You could turn it into a fucking hammock and it'd still survive, even if Fat Elvis was on it, you know? But anyway, I've got to do a lot of prototyping and I've been reading stuff, and it's one of these things getting back into business. You think, oh, it might be this hard. Whatever you think it's going to be at least 5 times as hard. And then, you know, that's what you sort of, once you know, you think, oh, it'll be like this. Then you write out all the things you've got to do and you sort of like, holy shit, this is 5 times the amount of things I thought I'd have to do. Then when you go to do them, it may actually be 10 times what you thought initially. I've heard it said that by some people that if you knew how hard it was to be in business, you would have never even started to begin with, you know. But it's the path to financial freedom. And ultimately, I'm going to go prototype a lot of this stuff. There's a bit of stuff that might be getting reverse engineered and copycatted a bit, but in the world of fashion, my sister says that there ain't no such thing as copyrights and patents. It's just, you know, everybody's friggin' copycatting everyone else. And although I do want to work on my own designs and bits and pieces, there's, you know, it's good if I can get a head start by looking at someone else's achievements and sort of building upon those or modifying those. And there's enough patterns out there as well that I can buy. And the fact of the matter is that I'm going to have to prototype a lot myself, and I may build the initial ones myself, but I have someone lined up, or a few people lined up in a foreign country, and some of these sewing machines, I've probably got to buy more machines, and they're going to be air freighted over there, and I'm going to have to set up a solar system that's going to be like a plug-and-play kind of a setup, complete with inverter and everything, that's also going to be air freighted over there, and I'm going to have to fly overseas. And you guys don't know, but I got myself a passport a couple of months ago, and yeah, a lot of work ahead, but if I can design and prototype it here and write up a big SOPs, as they call it, like a standard manufacturing procedure, which that's the one lame-ass qualification I do have, is organising production lines and processes. It's the one lame thing I always say to everybody, it's fucking worthless because there's no factories here, we're not in China, and then I find out, hey, I've got to get to use this damn thing because I've got to have a whole book on, the processes and the steps to make this thing, and there's going to be quite a few different variations, it looks like it. A lot of different variations, and a lot of, so anyway, hopefully most of it will get farmed out over there, done by the nieces of one of my current workmates at my current job, which is better than some Chinese contractor you never met before, because they want to do it good for Uncle such and such's mate, and they ain't going to fuck me over because of that. And so anyway, that's just my little rant about how Ebeggars could probably take on sewing and sell something, including something they made. I mean, you even look at friggin' those little LED torches. I've had some of those that have failed, and I've pulled some apart, and if you can get somebody to make up 2 pieces of plastic injection moulded, hell, one you could even go bloody blow moulded, but a bit of plastic injection moulded, I'm not joking, you can solder those together and make those up. And hell, most of them don't even, if you get some of the Chinese ones, you take them apart, there's no solder in the fucking things, or there might be 1 or 2 minor solder joints, but a lot of them, there's not even any solder in them. They're so smart, they've worked out how to do the whole lot with bits of wire. I'm not joking. Bits of wire and the prongs on the end of the LED, and they've got some shitty little bit of spring metal, spring sheet metal for the switch, and they could sell them. The reality is, we're dealing with Ebeggars, so it ain't going to happen. But anyway, it's just my little waffle for today.